I have some good news, and maybe it's not good news. It's good news that it's getting exposed, but like, let's go ahead and take a listen to what the fallout of Doge has been. This came on the news like 18 hours ago. ABC covered it, and I want to take a look at it real quick because holy fucking shit. It's everything you already knew happened, but like different.
Since Elon Musk and employees in Doge ended hundreds of government grants, and recently depositions from 2 staffers about their actions were made public, taken down, and then ordered to be made public again. The videos offer the clearest glimpse yet into the decision-making behind which programs stayed and which went, and in many cases, staffers were relying on ChatGPT to make those life-changing decisions. Our Peter Haralambous has tonight's Prime Focus.
Do you think it's inappropriate in any way that someone in their 20s with no experience with grants or federal government was making personal judgment calls about what grants to cancel?
Objection. No, I don't think it's inappropriate.
I don't think it's inappropriate that somebody with no experience whatsoever, no expertise whatsoever, was performing a heart surgery. Same energy.
A revealing behind-the-scenes look at Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency and its unusual process for cutting federal spending last year. 2 former Doge staffers were testifying about cuts made to federal grants for humanities research that came to more than $100 million.
Why is a documentary about Holocaust survivors DEI?
Objection.
It's the gender-based story that's...
Why is a documentary about Holocaust survivors DEI? It's a gender-based story. My fucking guy, the only difference between sex and gender is I didn't fucking do gender with your mom last night. Holy fucking shit. What a goddamn moron. Anyway, if you want salient political analysis like this in your feed more often, consider subscribing to the channel. Maybe even checking out my Magic the Gathering channel. That's something as well. But holy fuck, what in the hell did I just listen to?
inherently discriminatory to focus on this specific group.
It's inherently discriminatory to focus on Jewish people dying in the Holocaust that was primarily done against Jewish people. Yes, people who were gay, people who were Slavic, people who were Romani were also killed during the Holocaust as well. But when we are tallying up that 6 million number, usually we are looking at a lot of the propaganda that was aimed at Jewish people. We know that more people were attacked in the Holocaust. Obviously, it's where the poem comes from. First, they came for the communists, but I said nothing because I wasn't a communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I died. Grenade says, it's inherently discriminatory to learn history energy. Yeah, basically. This is the thing that right-wingers argue that Project 1776, or 1611? No, not 1611. What was the project that focused primarily on the foundation of America that was done by Black people that gets countered a lot? I think it's Project 1776 was the counter thing for it. Why can't I remember the name of it specifically? Right-wingers used to bring it up all the time in the anti-CRT conversation. Project 1619, the 1619 project. That's what it was. 1619. Project 2024? No. Project 1619. My brain completely blanked on that, but this is what right-wingers say Project 1619 was. Inherently discriminatory against our white forefathers, because it focused on the bad things we did to Black people. Fucking hell.
It's inherently discriminatory to focus on what specific group?
The gender-based, so females.
The Holocaust documentary was bad because it focused on women. You know what? No. I know somebody. I know somebody who has words to say about this. Same energy, by the way. Same energy.
Men. You just want to impress her, don't you?
Women. Women.
Fucking Leon-esque energy. Leon-esque energy? Leon S. Kennedy's misogyny quotes energy. That's all it is. Skid says he's one of the good ones. Look, I understand Leon is one of the good ones, okay? He's good. He's great. This is the same energy. Dude's just sitting there. Why is the Holocaust documentary bad? Women.
During the Holocaust.
The deposition videos were released as part of a civil lawsuit brought by a group of nonprofits whose grants were eliminated last year. They argued that Doge staffers like Nate Kavanaugh and Justin Fox didn't have the authority to make those decisions. They said they used ChatGPT and hunted for keywords they considered tip-offs to diversity, equity, and inclusion.
So, okay. Do you remember when me and Vice Rhino were talking about this and we said it has to be that they just control-F'd things they didn't like? They control-F'd gender, they control-F'd trans, and so, like, you'd see random words that got truncated because, like, the word trans was taken out of something like transitory or transaction. Kuriko, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Do you remember when we talked about that shit? This is that. This is evidence that we were right the whole fucking time. Also, hi, Seffi. We were right the entire fucking time. They literally just control-F their way through policy, and they're sitting there in a deposition going, you know, I may not be an expert, but I know what control-F is, so... Said the last time he saw a vagina was on his way out. Jesus fucking Christ.
Words like homosexual, immigrant, and melting pot.
How were you otherwise finding grants that were DEI? Was it not through certain terms, certain words?
You would search DEI, DEIA, equity, inclusion.
How did I find out that something had the evil DEI? I control-F'd DEI. Look, okay, the energy I'm getting from this is just the dude going, hey, how did you know it was DEI? I control-F'd DEI. So like, that's all it fucking is. That's all it is. Dude unironically did the entire funk meme of just say something incredibly stupid and then just hope the backing track makes it sound good. Fucking hell. Les, is the DEI in the room with us right now? I control-F'd LGBTQ.
LGBTQ plus, etc.
What do you find wasteful about grants relating to Black, homosexual, or LGBTQ subjects?
Objection.
It is non-critical spend, meaning nobody's life is at stake.
So, just out of curiosity, if you're somebody who's LGBTQ and studies that are primarily funded by government grants are done in order to find out that that disposition of yours, that sexuality of yours, is actually not, you know, just a fucking problem in your brain, that would affect your life, right? Now, you may think that I'm not explaining this very well. I'm not. So let me rephrase. If government studies are done into the phenomenon of people being gay, and through those government studies, we find that the phenomenon of being gay is not a mental disorder, would that not have a positive effect on people who find out that they are gay? Because that's what happened. The DSM-3 used to argue that homosexuality was a mental disorder that needed to be treated by fucking electrocuting people and throwing them into a fucking insane ward. But further studies done into homosexuality show that that's not the fucking case. So getting rid of government grants that actually do learn about shit about the people who live in the country, it actually does affect their lives. It actually does affect their lives, and we have historical precedent for that. The fact that I can immediately point to a situation where it did in fact happen, fucking hell.
But you didn't screen for white, Caucasian, or heterosexual, right?
We could have.
But you didn't.
We didn't.
They fed more than 1,000 grant descriptions into ChatGPT and asked the following prompt.
From the perspective of someone looking to identify DEI grants, does this involve DEI? Respond factually in less than 120 characters. Begin with yes or no, followed by a brief explanation. Do not use, quote, this initiative, close quote, or, quote, this description, close quote.
Wait, is this literally the chat GPT prompt they used? What the flying fuck? What the shit? So that thing was notorious for abusing their patience. Sean says, not to mention, every time we do a government grant, we find 3 things where we only grant for 1 thing. Kusagaki says, gotta remember, though, they do think homosexuality is a mental disorder, so facts don't matter. No, I understand that, but regardless, said trash prompt engineering bot.
In your response. Did I read that correctly?
Yes.
And that's the command for ChatGPT. Is that right?
Yes.
But nowhere in that process did they clearly define DEI.
How do you
You know, they literally just prompted ChatGPT. This is the most pathetic way you possibly could have done this. Fucking hell. Jump Point says, I knew that it was stupid, but that is worse than I thought. Yeah, this is the dumbest, most pathetic way you possibly could have gone about finding any of this.
interpret DEI?
There was the EO explicitly laid out. The details, I don't remember it off the top of my head.
It's okay. I'm asking.
It was so important that I ripped jobs away from thousands of people, but it's not important enough for me to remember what the prompt was. I don't remember what I did, actually. That is the level of fucking expertise we're dealing with here. This is important enough for me to rip away thousands of people's jobs. This is not important enough for me to remember. Unironically. So I'm hoping that this is the actual quote specifically, because if it's not, I'm gonna have egg on my face. Also, sidebar, this quote goes hard as fuck, and this is basically what these guys think they are doing when they say this.
I don't remember any of it.
You don't remember?
For you, the day bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
That's how they feel they are. They think that they are going that hard when they're like, yeah, I don't remember this thing that impacted thousands of people that I, in fact, did. I don't remember it at all.
Asking for your understanding of it.
Yeah, my understanding was exactly what was written in the EO.
Okay, so can you...
My understanding was exactly what was written in the EO. Fuck if I remember it.
I don't remember what was in the EO.
So right now, do you have an understanding of what DEI is?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your understanding?
I don't remember what was in the EO. My understanding is what was in the EO. Do you understand it? Yeah? My guy, this is not looking good for you.
And I guess you sit here today in this deposition.
Well, it was exactly what was written
Thank you for
in
the follow.
And so anytime that we would look at a grant through the lens of complying with an executive order, we would just refer back to the EO and assess if this grant had relation to it.
But they didn't do that. They asked ChatGPT to do it, so they didn't actually do that at all. They're lying.
Okay, but I guess stepping back from your methodology strictly in terminating the grants, do you have an understanding as you sit here today of what DEI means?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your understanding of what it means?
Well, it is exactly what was written in the EO.
This is so
The men had no
pathetic.
experience in government, but were given unprecedented authority to slash federal spending, making recommendations that became the basis for the largest mass termination of federal grants in the history of the National Endowment for the Humanities.
Did you ever find it problematic that...
The fight is, it's the phrase, the axe forgets but the tree remembers. Yeah.
You were alongside Nate shortlisting for termination projects that had hits on words like black, homosexual, LGBTQ+.
Objection.
What do you mean problematic?
What did you think about it? Let me put it that way.
How did... Okay, hold on. I need to know... How is that the response there? Hold on.
Had hits on words like shortlisting for termination projects that had hits on words like black, homosexual, LGBTQ+.
Objection.
What do you mean problematic?
What did you think about it? Let me put it that way.
What do you mean problematic? Okay, let me rephrase. What did you think about it at all? Okay.
We were identifying wasteful spend in the government based on administration direction. That was the whole reason we were there, is to find savings.
These videos have become controversial themselves, publicly released in March, and according to lawyers with the Department of Justice, resulting in a torrent of threats against the two men.
Good. I'm sorry, but I feel like when you fuck up on that level, you were working in the government. Everybody in the government should be personally accountable to the taxpayers. We are your bosses. We pay your salary. Good. I'm sorry, but good.
In response, a judge temporarily ordered the videos be taken offline before allowing their release, saying the embarrassment and reputational harm.
The videos should be temporarily taken offline. My guy, my good bitch, the internet always remembers. No.
Wasn't enough to overcome the public interest in the videos. The judge asked DOJ lawyers, are they not proud of what they did a year ago? Can they not stand behind the work they did? In fact, when asked a version of that question during their depositions, the men said they had no regrets.
You don't regret that people might have lost important income to support their lives?
Objection.
No.
Pure sociopathy. Absolute scum. I think every bit of harassment that they are getting is 100% valid. I'm sorry, but much like if you are a politician, an elected official, and when you take on that job, an amount of harassment is something you should be expecting. You expect that people are going to disagree with things you've done. You expect that people are going to spam your phone. They're going to spam your mail. They're going to do these kind of things. They're going to protest outside of your house. That is part and parcel to your job. When you are working in the government in this capacity and you are denying people things that they need, you should expect the same fucking thing. You are an employee of the taxpayers. You are using taxpayer dollars to fuck over the lives of people. You are accountable to those taxpayers. If you don't like that, don't work in government. I'm sorry. That is just the reality we live in.
I think it was more important to reduce the federal deficit from $2 trillion to close to zero.
Yeah, but they didn't do that. They didn't do that. So here, Growlith is trying to get out real quick. So give me just 1 second. Anyway, just real quick, let's see how that's fucking going, because last I checked, you didn't lower the federal deficit by all that much. The Biden administration actually lowered the deficit by such a high amount, and yet the Trump administration seems to have done effectively nothing except maintaining the current federal deficit. So despite the fact that you argue, actually, no, I did this so that I could lower the deficit, I think that was way more important, you failed at that too. Like, I am so sorry that, shocker, a person with no expertise in a subject failed to enact a plan that actually allowed the thing they were trying to get to happen to actually happen. I'm so surprised that a person with no expertise whatsoever failed at a job. That is so strange to me. I don't know how that possibly could have happened. Anyway, these are clowns. Everybody that Elon had doing jobs under him, all of the fucking tech yes men, all of them clowns, every single one of them, and our government was made worse for them. But make no mistake, all of this has been what Project 2025 said it wanted to happen. Project 2025, built by the Heritage Foundation, argued that loyalists, not experts, should be the ones in the decision-making power areas of the government, not people who actually had careered expertise in anything. And as a result, this is what you are going to find at damn near every level. This is where you get healthcare is actually RFK doing push-ups with Kid Rock in a sauna. This is where you get jobs being ripped away from people merely because you ctrl+F'd and you were dumb about it. All of this is what Project 2025 argued can and should happen. And so there is no confusion in my mind as to how we actually got right here. That said, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you want to check out my Magic the Gathering stuff, I have a secondary channel where I cover that. And if you want to see more eclectic things from the stream, then I've got the Suris live channel you can check out as well. All that fun stuff and more, because my God, these guys are clowns and they should be made fun of. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Sylvie Snow, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.